Recently, Danno Drawings has been teasing us over the moon with the release of TOONTURF's animated pilot. And today, I'm going to be talking about all the lore that there is to TOONTURF. Well, obviously not all of it, but a good majority of the lore. And hey, like this video and subscribe, and hey, I might even make a part 2, who knows? The first thing we're going to be talking about is the history of Riggy video, as it does say some pretty important stuff about TOONTURF. Okay, so the beginning of the video is just Riggy yapping about himself, saying why he's the greatest cartoon character to ever exist. He begins then talking about theorists like Dachia, and then he begins talking about why he's so popular, or what he's from, and what kind of animal he is. But then he begins explaining. So in the video, Riggy begins talking about just stuff about him. He says he's a runky, which is a rabbit plus monkey. He has a girlfriend named Rosie and stuff, and yeah, he just begins talking, and she's the one holding the camera. And then he begins talking about other stuff about how he has his own YouTube channel, and how he works for Danno, and how Danno is a jerk, which he isn't, and how he's basically the channel's mascot. He does weird things, and yeah. He then also begins talking about all the arcs and all of the lore that's been in Danno's channel and stuff, and everything, and all the videos where he talks and says stuff, and how he would interrupt Danno's stupid topic just to talk about something lore related, so the theorists could be like, wow, lore? Thanks! But yeah, he begins talking about just the different videos, but this part of the video is where it gets really, really, really interesting for TOONTURF, as he says something important. Also, Riggy Bot gets a cameo. He'll be more important to this story later. But let's get to the part where we were all waiting for, the part where he talks about his own animated series called Riggy's Slightly Mature Adventures of the Ultimate Theme of Guilt and Destiny. I mean, TOONTURF. And yeah, this is really important. Really important.
In the next month or two, finally the pilot of my show, TOONTURF, is releasing. In fact, a lot of you might have already seen the pilot and are now exploring my channel. If that's you, then hi. Subscribe now. Anyway, TOONTURF is going to showcase my life in Toonville, which is part of the world where I was born, grew up, and lived in until about 2022, where I left town via a special portal thingy and met Danno. It sounds complicated, but it's not. How can I make portals, you ask? Watch my show. It'll explain it in, like, Season 2. Oh yeah, speaking of seasons, this is a timeline of my life. I was born in 2001, and we can actually erase all of this because not much happened between then and 2019. But in 2019, I turned 18 and moved out of my parents' house to Toonville. Then some stuff happened. I met this celebrity named Lucky, made a few friends, and lost a few friends.
Okay, all of that was pretty interesting. So we get to learn the timeline a bit of where Riggy was, like, born. I mean, like, and how old he is. Well, what I mean is, we get to learn, like, just some stuff about him. And yeah, so apparently he was born in that year. And yeah, and he is able to go through different universes, to our universe via portals, which is something we already knew, but it's pretty cool. And he said the next month or two, and this was uploaded like a month ago, so it's obviously could be referring to this month we're getting TOONTURF, which I would be pretty excited for, and I might make some theories on it when it finally releases. And before you say this is the end of the TOONTURF lore, no, there's still some lore to be talked about. Firstly, there's this video. Okay, in this short Danno made, It was basically where he was celebrating his 3-year anniversary on YouTube. But basically what happened is, in the video, Riggy got a time machine, or not a time machine, but like a machine that could tell the future. And it showed like what would happen in like a few years from now. And it shows them being old and stuff, but something interesting is we see Riggy befriending a penguin, which is pretty weird since he hates penguins, but maybe in the future he befriends one? Look, I don't know. And yeah, it's funny how despite being old, Riggy is still a prankster, which is pretty funny. Some things never change, I guess, but yeah. Then this character appears, which appears to be Riggy's granddaughter, although she's really, really interesting when it comes to the lore. Like, is she canon? Not canon? I mean, I would assume not canon yet, because obviously Riggy is not that old. He's not that old and stuff, but and other stuff, but yeah. So she's pretty interesting, but she's probably not canon. Also, the time machine, or the machine, says how it begins talking about Lucky, and then Riggy destroys it, calling it like defective or whatever, which is pretty interesting. Also, in the video called "Did Riggy Murder a Leprechaun?" He talks about how all the holiday animals in Toonville hate him for some reason. Yeah, I wonder why. Not like he's a murderer, a prophecy destroyer, a person who causes chaos. Yeah, surely, I wonder why they would hate him. Okay, so this isn't that important to the lore, but it is still pretty cool to find out and stuff. And Riggy does get beaten up in this episode. Yeah. But next, the short called Riggy's Secret Chest, or Riggy's Secret Box, or whatever, is way more important to the lore, as this is the first short where Barry is in. Yes, I know he was in another short, but I don't think that was canonical. So this was his first canonical debut in Danno's video. And he's portrayed as really dumb, kind of silly, but overall a good person, and really innocent and stuff. And in Riggy's box, we see a lot of different stuff. Like, for example, like a flower thing. We see a Lucky plush that looks worn out, probably from time. And yeah. And I think it was shown that there was a unicorn horn that Riggy stole from a person's lair, I think, which could have been L.E. Font, the mayor of Toonville, but hey, that's just a theory. And to the other short, well, it's not really the short itself, but the ending of the short, basically.
How am I gonna save them all now?
Yeah, that was pretty wild. But yeah, Riggy was saying how he was gonna possibly save them all because Clone Riggy stole his money for cheese puffs. So what could this mean? Maybe Riggy is running Toonville, but maybe not in like a political sense, because I don't think he's the mayor or anything. Because we know of characters like L.E. Font exist, and other characters and stuff, so yeah. But I wonder what he means by running Toonville. Also, the next part is, Rory might be dead. Yeah, Rory canonically might be dead in Toonville, or just don't talk to Riggy anymore, because at the end of this short.
Or, Rory, wait, that's not Rory.
The way he said it sounded remorseful, so maybe Rory is dead. But this is weird because in other shorts, Rory is called a fraud by Riggy, but in this short, he's remorseful for Rory. So maybe Rory is dead, not dead, maybe betrayed Riggy, or maybe this short got retconned. I'm not sure yet. We'll just have to wait and see until TOONTURF. In the video called Is Riggy Being Watched, where he's clearly talking about Dacia, we also see a shadow cameo, which is pretty peak, honestly. In the short called Where Did Riggy's Scar Come From, it's revealed that Riggy had his kidneys stolen by a penguin. The penguin being Squeaker. No, not that one. Anyways, yeah, this short has a lot of lore. And this is also when Riggy was starting to ask for a raise before the RaZeR arc began. But yeah, in the short where Danno talks about him having 3 million, this is the short where RiggyBot is created. And yeah, it's really interesting. And yeah, RiggyBot is a robot version of Riggy, made by Riggy and Dr. T. I wonder who that could be. So yeah, RiggyBot might make a cameo in Season 3 or Season 2 maybe in TOONTURF, but that's just a theory. There's just so much lore! Anyways, part 2 is coming soon, as this video is getting pretty long and stuff, and yeah. But leave a like and subscribe to be a part of my community. And goodbye for more awesome cartoon theories. Thanks for watching.